Kindly turn off your mic, students. Abdul Ibrahim. Thank you. So yes, the first unit we're gonna learn in this block is planning and decision making. So before starting with the planning, let me tell you the functions of management. Basically, to perform a management, we have five functions. We have five functions of management. First one is planning. The second one is organizing. Third one is staffing. Fourth one, directing. And the fifth one is controlling. These are the main five functions of any management, business management. So out of this, today we're going to learn about planning. So what do you think planning is? Any thoughts on planning in general term? Anyone would like to try?
Yes, ma.
Yes.
Hello, ma.
What do you, yes,
In
yes,
my
I'm listening.
in my own side, I can say planning is to starting is to starting arrangement of something that you willing to
Achieve. We are willing to achieve.
achieve it. Yeah, within the
Okay.
short period of time or long period of time.
Okay. Uh, yes, planning is somehow like this only. Basically, in simple terms, I just say like it's a prepare, like preparing a route map to achieve a goal. Every person, every person in their life have a goal. Okay, we are working for our goal. You are in this organization. You have opted the BCom course. It's your goal get a degree. It's your goal to get a degree. So every person have a goal, and to achieve that they have a plan. They have a plan, basically the strategies or the steps they have to take to achieve their goal. So planning is a route map. Planning is a overall route map, or it shows you the path to achieve, to reach to your destination. So that's what planning in general term. Now let's read from here. It means deciding in advance what is to be done in the future for a specific period, and then taking the necessary steps to do the things decided upon. It means looking ahead into the future and trying to anticipate what is it likely to be. How will it affect the organization? What direction the organization should take, and how to cope with the future events. If I talk about the organization, or if I talk about any business, so every business plan can be different. Okay, their goal can be like to achieve the sales of 50,000 units in a year. Their goal can be maximizing their profits to 50%. Their goal can be to maximize the sales by 20% every year. So every primary or every business have different goals. I know they have a motive of profit, but the goals are different to achieve that motive. And for that goal, to accomplish that goal, they need to do planning. They need to do planning so that they can work for their goal to achieve their goal. That's what planning is in a business organization. So planning also implies determination of course of action from among alternatives to achieve the goals of the organization, both in the immediate future and in long run and in long run. Your goal is to be at the top of the market. Okay, your goal, being a company or an organization, your goal could be that you want to be at the top of the market in next 5 years. In next 5 years, you want your organization to be number one, in the market. and that is considered as a long run goal. To achieve that goal, you will have you will have some short goals, yearly goals. These are the immediate future goals. So to accomplish that, you will do planning, long term planning or the short term planning, both. Moving further, the nature and the characteristics of planning. Planning is primacy of planning. Every other function of management is depend on planning. If one person doesn't plan, if one person doesn't plan the route to achieve the goal, anything in the business management can be happen. Nothing can happen in business management. No process can be done without planning. So planning precedes all the managerial function or day-to-day activities needs planning too. The process of management begins with planning. Planning provides the basis for the subsequent functions of an organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. As I said, planning is the first function of any business management or functions of management. And after planning, we do organize, then we do stuffing, then we do directing, then controlling. Now coming to the second point, planning as a process. Planning is a process involving a few stage or steps. It is sub process or process of management. Planning process begin with the identification of mission and goals of the organization and ends with the making arrangement of implementation of plans. Planning is not like that in the starting you have decided what to do. It's not ends there. Planning means the implementation of the plan too. Planning means the implementation of the plan and stick to the plan. Planning goes to the end of the management function, which is controlling. So planning is a complete process. It's not only a topic which should be done in the starting of any managerial function. Pervasiveness of planning. Pervasiveness of planning. It means that planning is present in all part or the level of management, in all part of management or in all level of the management. Like top level management also do planning, subordinates also do supervisors also do planning, managers also do planning. Every person in a business organization do plan their work accordingly, according to their goal. So it is pervasive in nature. Future orientation. Planning is done for future only. Planning is done for future only. We are creating a roadmap for our future goal. So planning is invariably future oriented. Henry Ford defined planning as a process of looking ahead or thinking ahead and making provision to tackle future events and situations. We do planning considering the future future situations. Okay, we forecast the future sometimes while doing the planning. Like it can be happen in environment, it can be happen in political parties, political environment. So by considering all the points, we do planning of an organization. Information base. Planning is backed by information. Without information, planning exists in a vacuum. Information on the past trends, current condition, and future possibilities are essential for planning. When we set our goals for an organization, then we need the past results of our organization, so that we can set some realistic goal which are achievable. We should not select those goals which are not realistic. Okay, if I say like in 5 years, if I am the CEO of an organization and I set a goal that in 5 years or in 2 years I will be a brand or at the top of the market. I will be at the top of the market. So it won't gonna happen if if we are a small enterprise. If we are a small enterprise, so your Goals should be realistic, and for that you need the past trends, current condition, and future possibilities. And future possibilities, and that's how planning is information based. Planning is information based. Information is needed to diagnose the planning issues and problem, to develop the alternative causes of actions, to evaluate them, and to make final choices of plan. Coming to the rationality, planning is a rational managerial activity. It implies that planning is purposeful and conscious managerial function. Managers who are planner are somewhat objective and fair in their approach to planning. They have reasonably clear idea of planning issues and know how to tackle them. Now, formal and informal nature. Planning is of formal and informal nature both. Planning has both formal and informal elements. Formal elements refers to a systematic, rigorous process of arriving at planning decisions through investigating and analysis of the various factors. Formal planning is more explicit and open. Responsibility of various aspects of planning is pinpointed among managers. Plan are put into writing are communicated through the organizational channels of communication to the various managerial levels. That these are the formal nature of the planning. Now coming to the informal planning is done by the managers through an intuitive process. Manager can carry plans in their heads in form of specific but flexible intention, because not every situation go with your plan. Okay, situation changes, situation arises in a organization, and you can't go with plan every time. You need to do a change in your plan to achieve your goal. So that's what where planning goes to informal nature. And for that purpose as well, managers need to plan everything in their mind. Okay, coming to the process. Planning is an intellectual process. Planning is a intellectual process as it requires certain conceptual skills. It requires to thinking abilities both in abstract or in concrete way. Pragmatic and action oriented. Pragmatic and action oriented. Although planning is an intellectual activity, it is primarily pragmatic and action oriented. Planning is nothing without the implementation. So that's why it is action oriented. Planning precedes action and is often described as action laid out in advance. Planning is based on actions only. Okay. Planning is nothing without the implementation of those plans in an organization. Planning as a form of decision making. Planning as a form of decision making. Now think like that. We have planned for our organization. We have a proper plan for our organization, and a situation arises, a problem arises. Then, then in that situation, we will take a decision according to our plan, and which will suitable for our goal. So that's how planning is a form of decision making. We can take decisions on the basis of our plan. Planning premise. Planning is based on certain assumptions and estimates about the future behaviors of events and situation in the environment. These are formally known as planning premises, which are derived through the process of forecasting. Planning involves forecasting as well, because in this, when we are creating a plan, when we are making a plan for an organization, we think about the political structure. We think about the political structure in next 1 year or next 2 year or next 5 year. So we are forecasting it. We do not know what will happen in next 2 years or in next 3 years. But we will take a forecast. We will take a decision on the basis of our forecasting. Now you will be wondering how politics will affect our business. Politics as well affect our business, because politicians or the government are making rules and regulations for the business organization. Rules and regulations for the business organization. Suppose you are involved in a manufacturing organization, okay, and it produces more air pollution. It produces air pollution. Now, a government can come and ban all the factories from a particular area. Then, in that condition, that is the external force which are affecting your business, and that is politics or that is government. That's how we forecast. We need to forecast everything, every external environment for the planning purpose. Now coming to the dynamism. Dynamism. Planning is a dynamic process. It keeps on changing. It keeps on changing according to the situations. So it is a process of making continuous assessment and reassessment of the goal, resources, directions, opportunities, and problems of the organization and converting them to the serve its need. Level of planning. Level of planning. We do planning on many levels, few levels, and here are some. On the basis of scope, we have two level: corporate planning, covering the entire organization, and sub-corporate or functional planning, carried on with the various functional units or division. Now, on the basis of significance, we may divide planning into strategic planning or tactical or operational planning. We will read it further. Okay. On the basis of time span, there are two levels: long range planning, covering periods of more than 1 year in general, or short range planning, as the name says, for a shorter time period, a year or less than a year. And the types of plan. Planning produces several types of plan, which may be viewed as a series of hierarchy of decision and actions packages. They include objectives or goals, strategies, policies, programs, budgets, schedules, procedure, methods, rules, and so on. Some of the plans, such as objective and budget, serves as an integral elements. Now we have categorized it in two broad groups, which is single-use plan or standing plan. Single-use plan or standing plan. If we have a project, if we have a specific project, then we can create a single-use plan for that project only. And if we are going for a long time period, then we can have a standing plan. So these are some types of plans as well. I hope it's clear till here because it's not so difficult. Now, the importance of planning. It provides direction. Planning provides a direction to the whole organization, as it tells you how to do the work, how to do day to day work to take a step further for your goal, towards your goal. So, planning provides a clear sense of direction to the activities of an organization and to the job behavior of managers and others. It strengthens their confidence in understanding where the organization is heading and what for, how best to make the organization move along the chosen path, and when should they take what measure to achieve the goals of an organization. Now provides opportunity to analyze alternative course of action. It provides opportunity to analyze alternative course of action as well. Another source of importance of planning is that it permits manager to examine and analyze alternative course of action with a better understanding of their likely consequences. It reduces uncertainties because while preparing our plan, or while creating, or while planning, we do think about uncertainties, some situations, worst situations, and we plan according to those worst situations. So it helps in reducing uncertainties. Minimize impulsive and arbitrary decisions. It minimizes impulsive and arbitrary decision. When situation arise, we take impulsive decision in some situation, in those situations. So planning helps a manager to minimize the impulsive decision they take in a worst situation. So planning tends to minimize the incidence of impulsive and arbitrary decision and ad hoc actions. It obviates exclusive dependence on the mercies of luck and chance element. It reduces the probability of major errors and failure in the managerial actions. Kingpin function. Kingpin function. So primary is the planning is the primary stage of any managerial function. So it is the base for other managerial function. It work as a base for other managerial function. Every managerial function needs to go according to the plan. We do organize, we do divide the group of work, we do divide the work according to the plan, we do staffing process according to the plan, so we do control according to the plan, so it provide a base for other managerial functions. That's why it is called a kingpin function. Resource allocation. Resource allocation. Planning means thinking about everything. Planning means thinking about everything while creating a plan. Okay. So in this we involve the resource allocation as well, and it will avoid the misuse of resources or the wastage of resources by preparing our goods, while producing our goods. So planning is means a judicious allocation of strategic and scarce resources of the organization in the best possible manner for achieving strategic goals of the organization. The strategic resources includes funds, highly competent executives, technological talent, good contact with government, exclusive dealer network, and so on. If the organization enjoys a distinct advantage in possession of such resources, a careful planning is essential to allocate them into those lines which would strengthen the overall competitive position of the organization. So that's how it helps in allocation of resources. Resource use efficiency. Resource use efficiency. For an ongoing organization, planning contributes towards a more efficient functioning of various work units. There is better utilization of organization existing assets, resources and capabilities. Resources and capabilities. It prompts manager to close gaps and plug loopholes to rectify deficiency, to reduce the wastage and leakage of funds, material, human efforts, and skills, and etc. Adaptive responsive. Adaptive response. Planning tends to improve the ability of organization to effectively adapt and adjust in activities and direction in response to change taking place in external environment. If there is a change taking place in external environment, then planning helps to adapt. Planning helps to adapt and adjust in that changing environment, changing external environment for an organization. Integration. Planning is an important process to bring about effective integration of diverse decisions and actions of the manager, not only at the point of time but also over a period of time. But also over a period of time. So these are some importance of planning. Now we will move further. There are some limitations of planning. The limitations. The first one is the it is based on certain assumption, because we are doing forecasting for external environment and some situations of our organization, past situation, according on the basis of the past situation of our organization, then it is based on certain assumption. It is based on certain assumption. It's not likely that everything will go according to your plan or will happen whichever you have think while preparing the plan. So it is based on certain assumptions. Anything, an assumption can go wrong too. So it is a limitation of planning. Incomplete information, because it is based on assumption, we do not know what will gonna happen in the future. So it is incomplete information. The information needed for planning is often incomplete. It may not be available in time, and its reliability tends to be doubtful. In several situations, managers are forced to make planning decisions on the basis of partial knowledge because of time lags and credibility gaps in information too. Lack of control. Lack of control. Because anyone in the organization do not have or get a control over the external environment of an organization. See, we have two type of environment in an organization. First one is internal environment, and second one is external environment. In internal environment, we have like CEO or managers of the company, and the and customers of our company. These are the internal users or internal environment of our company. But in external, we have climate, we have government, we have different policy, we have economical thing, and the geographical environment, which means of territories. So these are some external environment, and no one have the access or control over the external environment of an organization. We can control the internal environment, but can't control the external environment. So managers have little knowledge and less control over the several elements of external environment. There is often go away to bring external situations under the discipline of planning. Several external events tend to influence organizational activities and plan in random and perverse way. As for an example, natural calamities, sudden strikes, government policy change, and so on. So these are the external environment we can't control. So we have a lack of control. Difficult to change with the changing environment. It is easy to write it on a paper that we will change or we will become flexible in planning, but when the situation arises, it will be difficult to change with the changing or the dynamic environment. So planning under condition of rapid changes in the external environment tends to be tough job. Plan would become quickly outdated and irrelevant even before they are implemented. The next point, fluid process. Planning is essentially a fluid process in the sense that always in a state of flux. This is because of the march of time and the subtle change which categorize the future as it unfolds. Future is always a moving target. It is not easy to visualize an integrated and composite view of the past, present, and future of the planning purpose. So it is a fluid purpose process. Delay in action. Delay in action, because planning takes time, and to gather the information it takes time to create a plan, a proper plan. Since planning means thinking and deciding before doing things, it is likely to delay actions. For one thing, thinking and deciding are somewhat slow intellectual exercise. So it can cause delay in actions of organization. Rigidity. It also provides the rigidity to the firm or to an organization, because everyone needs to go with the plan. Everyone need to go with the plan according to the plan. They have to follow the plan, the rules, regulations. So it will create an organization rigid. Plan might remain on paper. Plan might remain on paper means there are no execution of that plan. There are no execution of that plan, then in that case the plan might remain on paper. In our childhood, We used to create in our childhood, we used to create a timetable for our study, a timetable for our study. And I don't know about you, but I have failed many times coping with that table, timetable, or with that plan. So that plan might remain on paper. For me, my plan or my study timetable have always been remain on the paper only. So that's what this point is trying to claim. Difficult to implement at unit level. It may be easy to formulate broad plans at a corporate level. Problems are likely to arise when managers try to prepare more detailed plans in physical and financial terms at functional and unit levels for purposes of implementation. For purposes of implementation. So we have created a broad plan, but it will be difficult for us to implement it at unit level, at each or small level of the organization. I guess it is clear till now. The concepts are clear till now. Please tell me so we can move further.
Yes, ma. It's clear.
Okay. Now coming to the process of the planning. So the first part is planning to plan. The first step we take forward to the plan is planning to plan. We need to think to plan. So planning doesn't just occur on its own or with the issue of an order from the chief executive. It has to be properly and carefully decided upon and planned. The management of an organization has to inject a culture of planning at all levels of management by highlighting the imperatives and virtues of planning as also the philosophies and techniques embedded in it. So we first need to think to create a plan. So that is what planning to plan is. Appraisal of internal situation. Now we will take a view of internal situation of our organization. Okay. The top management, in collaboration with the managers, have to make an analysis of current state of affairs with organization, its existing plans, process, activities, performance level, achievements, and problems. It is essential to review in detail the specific strengths and weakness of the organization in its sphere of operation. And after getting all the analysis, after getting this report, we will create planning or we will create a plan. Now, appraisal of external environment. We have took appraisal of internal situation. Now we will take a look on the external environment, the ongoing environment. Top management of the organization is vitally concerned with the analysis of external environment condition for planning purpose. This facilitates them in understanding the element and events in the world outside the organization and future functioning which affects its present and future functioning. Appraisal of environmental trends in economic, social, technological, and other means of relevance for the organization is to be a continuous process. And after doing analysis on the external environment, we will take notes of that what gonna happen. We will forecast the future on the basis of this analysis. And the fourth step is definition of key areas and issue for planning. Definition of key areas and issues for planning. The appraisal of internal and external environmental condition gives to the management an idea about what tentative planning the organization needs, what changes are going to be there, and what tentative planning the organization needs. So manager have to ask themselves whether in the light of external appraisal the existing business products, markets, processes and the practices are relevant, and which aspect of them have to be retained, strengthened, refined, or modified accordingly. So in this area, we define the key area and issues for the planning. Fifth, development of alternate plans for evaluation and choice. Managers have to apply their creative and innovative skills to generate alternative plans, missions, objectives, strategies, policies, and programs on the basis of assessment of planning needs. They are generally of corporate-wide or long-range in character, ranging from 5 to 10 years ahead depending on the circumstances. Development of alternative plans call for an intensive thinking and search on the part of manager. Search on the part of manager. So we will create an alternative plan for the evaluation and the choices here. The sixth step is formulation of medium range and range plan. We have created a long range plan here for 5 to 10 years. For 5 to 10 years. Now, to achieve that plan in long run, we need to create or formulate some medium range or short range plan. Some medium range or short range plan. Medium range goes with 3 to 5 years, and short range plans are basically of 1 year or less than 1 year. So we will formulate the plan according to that. Arrangements of implementation of plan. We have created the plan, we have formulated the plan. Now we will do arrangements for the implementation of our plan in organization. Effective implementation of plan and decision is the crux of the planning process. Since plans are implemented by the manager and other at various level of the organization, it is essential for top management to enlist their cooperation, participation, and commitment for the purpose. Authority and accountability have to be pinpointed specifically. Whose authority is going to be for what activity performing in our organization, and whose accountability will be there for every specific activity or task in our organization. So it will be created here. Forecasting as an element of planning. Our planning is based on forecasting. The huge part of our planning is based on our forecasting. The external environment is totally based on the forecasting. Since planning is future oriented, forecasting is a basic ingredient of the planning process. Forecasting provides vital clues to managers on what the future problems or prospects are likely to be for the organization. By means of forecasting, managers generate information on several dimensions and aspects of the environment, that is, economic, social, technological, and political. These are directly relevant to the functioning and fortunes of the organization, and which directly influence the planning and the other decision, initiatives, and response of manager. Forecasting is necessary to enable managers to get important inputs for planning and make informed judgments about likely impact on the external forces of an organization, present and future courses of action. So that's how forecasting work for planning. Planning is based on forecasting as well, because we do not know what gonna happen in future. So we just forecast it. Now forecasting and premising. Forecasting and premising. For purpose of formulating plans, managers have to convert the appraisals, estimates, and the projection about the future events into certain meaningful assumptions, which are known as planning premise, which are known as planning premise. And there are some examples of planning premise, like the enterprise will maintain its competitive strength over the next 4 years. There will be revolutionary development in TV technology during the next 5 years. There will be future liberalization in economic and industrial policy of government with respect to big business enterprises. So these are some planning premises for an organization. Planning premises form the foundation of organizational plans. They are in the nature of informed guesses of manager. It's just complete guess. Informed guesses of manager with the respect of specific future trends. With the respect of future trends. Planning premises are categorized in various ways. The external premises. It relates to the general economic, business condition, social, political, technological, and other trends. Internal premises. These are confined to the activities of enterprises only. For example, cash flow, cost of products, services, profitability, production, and etc. Tangible premises are quantitative in nature, like sales volume of rupees 50 crores. Intangible premises are qualitative, as for the instance, the competence and character of managerial personnel in the organization. Now, some controllable premises. Premises are those which are manageable by the enterprises. Like we can manage the advertisement expenditure of our organization. Uncontrollable premises. We cannot manage a big fire in our plant, a earthquake, okay, the government policies. So these are some things which are uncontrollable by the manager. So that's what forecasting is. Types of planning. Types of planning. The first one is strategic planning. As the name says, we put a strategy to plan, or we are planning a strategy to compete with our rivalry. Okay, if we have an rivalry organization for here, then we have to come with a strategic planning. We have to come with a strategic planning so that we can compete with them. We can beat them in the market. The term strategic planning refers to the process of determining the integrated organization wide course of action to achieve the major objective of organization. Okay. We often hear of strategies to achieve goals of 5 year plans at national and regional levels, strategies for solving rural drinking water problems, strategies to reduce the growth rate of population, and so on. In the context of business enterprises, strategic planning consists of formulation of strategies which are in the nature of critical and intelligent course of action to gain upper hand over the competitive and other complex external force in the environment. The competitive and other complex external force in the environment. So basically, we are creating strategies for our competing organization, for a rivalry organization. Strategic planning is a means of improving the competitive position of the enterprise in relation to other existing and potential rivals in the industry. It is an attempt to design an action plan on how, where, and when the strategy resources of the enterprises have to be deployed, and combination sequence and timing of various major decisions and initiatives. I guess it's clear. Moving to the next type of planning, which is tactical planning. Tactical planning. In general term, I would like to call it a detailed planning. a detailed planning. Means everything is written here, everything is written in that planning. Let's read this. Tactical planning refers to the process of formulating more specific functional sub-plans to implement the strategies of the enterprise. Tactical planning is more limited in its scope and consists of detailed decision consists of detailed decisions and actions initiated at lower managerial level to exploit situation as and when they arise to cope with local operational problems. So tactical decisions are concerned with what and how activities are to be carried out, what performance criteria are to be established, how scarce resources are to be utilized efficiently, and so on. So that's how much in detail we write a plan in tactical planning. Tactical planning is carried out on the basis of more information under less risky condition and in a more structured manner than strategic planning. Read this point, the distinction between strategic planning and tactical planning. As the strategic planning is just we are just creating strategies to cope up with our rivalry industries. Okay. Now in tactical planning we are creating our plan in so deep, and it will tell us how, when, and where to perform an activity. Is one scope and impact. In many cases, the two types of planning become indistinguishable. They are interdependent. Long range planning and short range planning. Long range planning and short range planning, as the name says, it is for a long period of time and it is for a shorter period of time. Long range planning is generally when we create a plan for an organization for year more than 5 year for years more than 5 years, then it will be considered as a long range planning. Sometimes there is no middle range planning, sometimes there is no middle range planning, we just have long or short range. So in that case, long range goes for 3 to 5 years, in a fairly long time, and for some companies the long range goes for 25 to 30 years, for 25 to 30 years of planning. And in short range it is for the it is for 1 year or less than 1 year, it is for 1 or less than 1 year. Let's read. The term long range planning refers to the process of formulating the long range objectives of an organization and determining the way and means of achieving some such objectives. The term long range indicates the extent of future time horizon, the fairly long period of time which can be visualized and verbalized into tentative objectives by the organization. Okay, and here are the years which I already told you about. Long range planning provides a framework for determination of such critical goals as the desired growth rate of the enterprise's asset or the scale and profitability. When someone asks what is your goal for long run, so that's how you are planning for long run goal. Okay, your long run goal, that is long range planning. Short range planning, your short term goals. Short range plannings are for your short term goals, and short range planning also facilitates long run planning. How is it that so? Suppose you have, let's take this example. Suppose in long range goal, an enterprise is to increase its sales volume by 50% during the course of next 5 years. years. During the course of next 5 years, their goal is to increase their sales by 50%. Now, for the short term, because we are not going straight to the fifth year, we have to go through the time. Okay, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, and finally the fifth year. It's not like we are doing everything in 1 year only. We can't achieve 50% this long term goal in only in a year. We have to perform it in some short time periods. So for the first 1 year, we need, our goal is to be increase our sales by 20% or 10%. In next year we can increase 20%. In next year we can increase 30%. That's how short range planning facilitates the long range planning. And short range planning is for either 1 year or less than 1 year. It won't exceed 1 year. I guess it's clear. Now, the principles of planning. Principle of top management interest. Principle of top management interest. The chief executive of organization must show genuine interest in planning, submit himself to discipline of planning, and must inspire his team to do the same. Principle of long range view. We have to create plan for a long period of time. Okay, every organization should have a long term goal, and for that long term goal they should have a long term planning, a long range plan. Principle of contribution to objectives. Your plan should objective means directed toward your goal. It's not like that your goal is to reach the destination A and you are planning to reach to the destination B. It should not be like that. Your goal must be directed toward your planning must be directed toward your goal. So the principle of contribution to the objectives. Principle of primacy of planning. Principle of primacy of planning. As stated earlier, planning holds the prime position in the process of management. It is logical regarded as the first function of the managers from which all other functions flow. Principle of flexibility. Your planning or whatever your plan is, it should be flexible, that you can create as a manager. You can take some decision. You can take some decision at the hard time or the situation. When the situations arise, you can take decision other than your plan. Okay, so it should be flexible, not rigid. Principle of navigational change. This principle is related to the principle of flexibility. It indicates that a regular process of monitoring the course of external events is to be combined with a review and revision of plans. It is to be combined with a review and revision of plans. This should be done in order to achieve desired goal, just as a navigator negotiates his ship way by making changes in his route in response to behavior of the water mass. Principle of commitment. This principle helps in the determination of planning period. Planning should cover a period of time necessary to fulfill the commitments involved in a decision. For example, if a student make a decision to join a 3-year BCom course, his planning period is 3 years. Your planning period right now should be 3 years to complete this degree. So that's how you should be committed to your planning. Planning of the limiting factor. A limiting factor is one which stands in a way of achieving the desired objectives. Managers should pay due attention to tackle those limiting factors which hinders the smooth progress in achievement of objective. So these are some principles of planning. I guess it's clear. Moving further to decision making. So every manager needs to take some decision for their firm in their lifetime in an organization. it's a part of a managing job. Okay, every manager have to take some decision at a point of time, and it is a skill. Decision making is a skill every manager should have. A decision is a choice whereby a person performs a conclusion about a situation that represent a course of behavior about what must or what must not be done. So this is a decision. This is what a decision is. A decision is an act of choice where in an executive forms a conclusion about what must be done in a given situation. A decision represents behavior chosen from the number of possible alternatives. For the number of possible alternatives. So the above definitions conclude the decision making is like decision making is an act of choice. Decision making is an act of choice. Suppose you have fabric, you are involved in textile industries, you have fabric, and from that fabric you either can create shirts or pants. So it's a manager decision what product they want to create out of that fabric. That's where a manager needs to take decision. If a situation arises, two employees are fighting over something, so it's manager responsibility to take a decision, take a stand there. Okay, so this is how it's an act or choice. Possible alternatives. There may be various way of finding a solution to the problem. You have to explore and examine the possible way to take a decision. If your employees are fighting in your organization, two employees are fighting, you have you have many options. You have many options to choose. Either you can uh, terminate both of them, or you can ask for the sorry letter to each other, or you can reduce their salary of that one day for misbehaving, and there are many other alternatives. So you need to choose one out of them, and the appropriate conclusion, you have to select the best possible alternative. Thus you can conclude the decision by selecting the best alternative. So let's read how we a manager do a decision making, or how a person takes a decision. It's general, either for the business or for the normal human being. Identification of problem and opportunity. It's the first step in decision making process. At first, we need to identify the problem or the opportunity to take a decision. As you set up the goal for your career and strive for the achievement of the goal, similarly, the manager establishes the goal for an organization. She or he makes the efforts to realize the goal. There may be there may be number of internal and external factors influencing the achievement of the goal. The manager has to identify the exact problem or opportunity related to the organization. So first step is to identify the problem or the opportunity where a decision is needed to take. Exploration of possible alternatives. Now you have identified in the first step, you have identified the problem. Now you will explore all the possible alternatives for that problem. Okay, the manager explore various available possible alternatives for the solution, for the solution of the problem. For example, let's take this example. If the sale of the company has been decreasing, she or he has to diagnose the cause of the decreasing sale. Is it due to the internal factors of organization or due to the external factors? Similarly, if the manager wants to capture the new market, how will he manage the factor of production to enter into new market? He has to explore all the internal and external factors for this purpose. We need to find the alternatives or best alternative solution for our problem in the next step. In this step. In next step, we will do the evaluation of alternative. The manager has to evaluate all the alternatives. She or he examines the positive and negative aspect of each alternative. If he finds more positive points in a particular alternative, he may think that this alternative may be suitable for an organization. The fourth step is selection of best alternative. We have in the third step we have evaluated all the alternatives, their positive and negative impacts, and the alternative with most positive impacts we will select it here. Okay, selection of the best alternative. While selecting the alternative, we need to think about these things like risk. How much risk we are taking by selecting that particular alternative, how much risk is involved in that situation solution. Economy of effort. Thus, there should be economy in terms of utilization of resources, processing, timing. Situation or timing. Is it suitable for the situation or is it suitable for the timing? We need to cater this to. Limitation of resources. As you know, the resources are limited; they are scarce in nature. Therefore, you have to use the resources in such manner that you get the best result. So, after considering all these points, we will select the best alternative. After selecting the alternative or the solution, we will implement it in real life or in our organization, and then we will follow up. Then we will see that if our decision or if our solution have created an positive impact for the situation or a negative impact. And if it created a negative impact, then we will try to resolve it further. We need to take a further decision on that topic if it's not working properly. That's how we follow. And with this follow-up, unit have completed. This unit has completed. Going to the next unit. Unit number 10, organizing. As I said, after planning, the second function of the management is organizing. Organizing. When we organize things, we do organizing. Uh, we organize our clothes. It's the step of organizing. Think it like that. We need to clean our cupboard. We need to clean our cupboard. Okay, so in that thing, first we need to plan. First we need to plan how we would do this, and the second step is we will organize our stuff. So that's how organizing goes with the enterprises too. As a function of management, organizing refers to the process involving the identification and grouping of activities to be performed, defining and establishing the authority, responsibility, and relationship. Okay. This enables people to most effectively together in achieving the objective of the enterprises. In general sense, organizing consists of determining and arranging for man, material, machine, and money required by an enterprise for the attainment of its goal. For the attainment of its goal. Organization consisting of a group of people working together for the achievement of one or more common objective. For one or more common objective. That's what organizing is. Now we have created a plan. Now we have to follow it up. For that plan, we need to organize. We need to group peoples according to our plan. We need to group people, some people to finance. The people who are good at finance, we will put those people in financing department. The people who are good at sales, we will put those people in sales department. The people who are good uh, at production, we will put those people in production house. The people who are good at managing the things, we will we will put that person in managing position. So that's how organizing works. In this, we assign the duties to everyone. We assign the duties and divide the work. Let's read the characteristics of an organization. First one is group of people. An organization come into existence when a group of people combine their efforts for some common purpose and willingly contribute towards the common endeavor. Division of work. Our goal is to achieve. Our goal is to achieve to make profit of 5 million. Our long-term goal. It is our long-term goal. To to make it happen, we need to divide the work. We need to divide the work for achieving that goal. So here is the division of work. Setting of an organization involves division of total work into various activities and functions, and assigning the task to different person according to their skills, ability and experiences. We need to make or produce some shirts. We need to produce some shirts. For this purpose we need to divide the work. We need to divide the work in production, in financing, in sales, okay, in managing. So that's how we divide a work or particular task. Common purpose. Every person in the organization is working toward a common purpose, is working for that common purpose. Every organization come into existence on the basis of goals of an enterprise which are separate from the personal goals of people employed. It is a common purpose of the organization which provides the basis of cooperation among the members of the organization. Vertical and horizontal relationship. The vertical and horizontal relationships. If there is a relationship between superior and the employees, then it is known as the vertical relationship, organizational relationship. If we have some subordinates relationship, okay, department to department, or relationship between two people of same post, then it will be considered as horizontal organizational relationship. An organization creates cooperative relationship between different departments and divisions, as well as between superiors and subordinates. Different functions and activities like production, marketing, financing, etc., are integrated from achievement of the proper coordination. The duties and responsibility of superiors and subordinates in each department of divisions are also unified so to serve the purpose of their joint effects. See, the purpose of production is to produce the goods. The purpose of production is to produce the goods. The purpose of financing is to manage the finance or provide the finance for the raw material, for the advertisement and other thing. And the purpose of marketing is to increase the sales volume. But they have different purpose. All the division have different purpose, but they are working only for a common goal. They are working towards a common goal, which is to increase their sales, which is to increase their sale. If production house doesn't produce goods, then how will finance and marketing compete with their goal? How will they work for their goal? So they are interdependent on each other and moving toward a same goal. Chain of command. Chain of command. The superior and subordinate relationships established in an organization are based on the authority which flows from higher level of management to the next lower level. So thereby forming a hierarchical chain. This is known as chain of command. This hierarchical chain is known as chain of command. Who is commanding to whom? Basically, who is commanding to whom? By this, you can remember this. Dynamics of organization. Besides the structural relationship among the people, which are based on their activities and function, there exists an organizing interaction based on sentiments, attitudes, behavior of individuals or group. Like Some employees have their own relationship along along with the organization. So these are some dynamic organization. Importance of organization. Organization facilitates administration. Division of work facilitates administration. Sounds organization facilitates management to relate resources flow continually to overall objective. It provides an appropriate platform from where management can perform the functions of planning, directing, coordination, motivation, and control. It facilitates growth and diversification. It facilitates growth and diversification. How? Because it helps in organizational elaboration, growth and diversification of activities is facilitated by clear division of work, proper delegation of authority, and etc. So that's how it facilitates growth and diversification. It permits optimum use of resources. It will allocate resource to the public, to the employees. It will allocate the resources to the department. So it permits the optimum use of resources. It stimulate creativity. It put the people with their interest. A person or an employee is good at finance. An employee is good at finance should be put it in the finance department, because there that's where he or she can show their creativity. That's where he or she can do their job perfectly. So it stimulates creativity. It encourages humanistic approach. People can work in team and not like robots or machines. Organization provides job rotation, job enlargement, and enrichment. Jobs are designed to suit human needs and are made meaningful and interesting. Organization adopts the efficient method of selection, training, remuneration, and promotion of the employees. So it encourages humanistic approaches. So read it. According to the Professor Drucker, good organization structure doesn't by itself produce good performance, just as good constitution doesn't guarantee great president or good laws or moral society. But a poor organization structure makes good performance impossible no matter how good the individual may be. Organization as a system. Organization as a system. We put some we put some efforts in inputs, then it go throughout some transformation, which is a processor, and we get something in the form of outputs. So these are there are some components of organization system. Let's read this. Inputs: the efforts we put in an organization in the form of human resources, material resources, energy, and information. The system takes certain inputs from its environment. These inputs are human resources, material resources, and energy and information. Now, in the processor. The processor or throughout involves the utilization of inputs within the organization to produce desired outputs. A number of subsystems such as production, marketing, finance, personnel, and research and development must be created for processing or transformation. There are further subsystems within each subsystem. The individual employee is also a subsystem, and he or she is composed of multiple physical and psychological subsystems. So that's what happens in a processor. Like, we have put a raw material here. In the processor, in the production unit, we are creating goods. And the output the output of an organization may be both intended or unintended. Intended output are usually labeled objectives. Whatever objectives we have labeled or created for our organization, we have achieved it. If we have achieved it, then it will be known as intended outputs. For instance, high productivity is an intended objective. The output may consist of goods and services. The unintended output may be informal relation among the group members. This thing we haven't intended. Okay, our goal is to create high productivity, but we have some relation between our members or employees. So that informal relation is the part of unintended output. I guess organization system is clear to you guys. And the fourth step is management. Management works on all the levels. Management works on all the level. The management component of the system is concerned with the determination and implementation of the process processor activities on order to achieve intended outputs. Managing involves planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. Is it clear till now?
Yes, ma. It's clear.
Steps in the organization process. Steps in the organization process. At first, we determine the objectives of an organization. Organization is always related to certain objectives. We have created a goal in our planning, but to achieve that goal, we have created some small objectives, some small steps toward our destination. So therefore, it is essential for the management to identify the objective before starting any activity. Before starting any activity. The second step is identification and grouping of activities. Identification and grouping of activities. Now taking that same example of uh, producing the shirts. In producing shirts, we have many activities. We need to get raw material. Okay, we need to create shirts out of it. We need to buttoning them. We need to we need to press it, and we need to clean that shirts before preparing it for sale. So all the activities I have told you is a part of production. Is a part of production. Now after doing this, we have to take those shirts to the packaging department. So this is the step for the packaging department. This activities belongs to the packaging department. Now the advertisement department. Advertisement like going viral, or just creating pamphlets. Okay, providing those shirts to the models, showing it on Amazon, Flipkart, or different medias. So that's how these are the activities involved in advertising part, advertisement or marketing department. So that's how we grouping the activities. That's how we group all the activities. I guess it is clear. After doing identification and grouping of activities, we allot the duties. Allotment of duties. Which person will perform which duty, which particular task. After classifying and grouping the activities into various jobs, they should be allotted to the individual so that they could perform them effectively. A person who is good at uh, a person who is good at sewing the shirt should be allotted in the production department. In the production department should be sent to the production department. A person who is good at finance, who is good at accounts or arranging the funds, should be sent to the finance department. So that's how we allot the duties to persons. Now developing relationships. In this, we tell them that who is your boss, whom the person have to report, who is the manager. Since so many individuals work in the same organization, it is responsibility of management to lay down structure of relationship in the organization. Everybody should clearly know to whom he is accountable. Okay, to whom he is accountable, who is your boss, who is the task holder. This will help in the smooth working of the enterprise by facilitating delegation of responsibility and authority. Integration of these groups of activities. Whatever activities we have classified here, all the activities we have classified here in the form of production, finance, management, marketing, and sales, and other things. Now we will integrate it. Now we will join it. Integration can be achieved in all activities in following ways: through authority relationship horizontally, vertically, or laterally, through organized information or communication system, with the help of effective coordination and communication, because all the departments need to communicate with each other. All the departments need to integrate with each other. Like production department needs to integrate with the marketing department or the packaging department, so they need to coordinate. That's how we do integration of these group of activities. I assume it is clear. Moving further to the organization structure. To the organization structure. Organization structure may be defined as established pattern of relationship among the components parts of the organization. Organization structure in this sense refers to the network of relationship among individuals and position in an organization. So the manager determines the work actively. The manager determines the work activities to get the job done. Writer's job description and organize people into groups and assign them to superiors. He then fixes the goals and deadlines and establish standards of performance. Operations are controlled through a reporting system. Through a reporting system. The structural organization implies the following activities. The first one is the formal relationship with well-defined duties and responsibility. The hierarchical relationship between superior and subordinates within the organization. The tasks or activities assigned to different person and the departments. Coordination of various tasks and activities. A set of policies, procedures, standards, and methods of evaluation of performance, and etc. Significance of organization structure or the importance of organization structure. If a person, see, in organization structure, basically it tells you whom to report, what organizational structure they are following. So it its importance is, you know, the clear cut authority relationship. You know whom to report. As an employee, you know whom to report. Organizational structure allocates authority and responsibility. It specifies who is direct whom and who is accountable for what results. Pattern of communication, because there is a chain of command, then it will show you the pattern of communication as well, from higher authority to lower or vice versa. Location of decision centers, who will take the decision. Okay, if we have a team, then the superior or the team manager will take the decision, so we know who have the decision making power or have the location of decision centers. Proper balancing proper balancing organizational structure creates the proper balance and emphasizes on coordination of group activities. Those more critical aspects for the success of the enterprise may be given higher priority in the organization. So there should be a balance, because we know the organizational structure. Stimulating creativity. Organization structure stimulates creativity, thinking, and initiative among organizational members by providing well-defined patterns of authority. Defined patterns of authority. Who has the authority, and to which extent they have the authority. Encouraging growth, making use of technological improvement, like a sound organization structure which is adaptable to change. can make the best possible use of latest technology. It will modify the existing pattern of authority, responsibility relationship in the wake of technology improvement. Now we have learned what the organization structure is, basically what pattern an organization is following, and the importance of organizational structure. Now we will see the types of organization structure. The types of organization structure: functional, divisional, or adaptive. Functional, divisional, or adaptive. As the functional organizational structure, just look at the diagram. This is the example of functional structure. Basically, it is for a single product. It is for a single product or organization who is involved in a single product. When the units and subunits of the activities are created in an organization on the basis of function, it is known as functional structure. Thus, in any industrial organization, specialized functions like manufacturing and marketing, finance, personnel are constituted as a separate unit of organization. All activities connected with such function are placed in same unit. As the volume of activity increase, subunits are created at lower levels in each unit, and the member of the person under each manager at various level get added. The main advantage of functional structure of organization is that there is functional specialization in each unit, which leads to operational efficiency of people engaged, and organization as a whole derive the benefit of specialized operation. Now look at this functional structure. Here we have a chief executive. We have three departments: manufacturing or production, marketing, and finance department. Each department have subunits, sub-departments which are mechanical work or electrical work. In marketing we have advertisement or sales. In finance we have accounts and audit. And these departments have some further subunits, the employees working here. So that's how a functional structure look like. That's also an example of functional structure only. Divisional structure. Divisional structure. As the name says, divided structure. The divisional organization structure is more suited to very large enterprises, particularly those which deals in multiple products to serve more than one distinctive market. As in example, the company Nestle. The company Nestle is involved in multiple products. It's dealing in multiple products. So they follow the divisional structure, and how it is look like. That's how. In here we have an example of this company is dealing in two products. First one is chemical product and second one is textile products. Now see the chart. The structure is like we have chief executive, now planning and control, finance and personal. This is the general manager. This is the general management. Okay. Now moving further, we divided into two products. First one is chemical product division and the second plant is textile division. Going with the first part, chemical product division, it further divided in manufacturing, marketing, accounting and personnel. Okay, and the textile division as well divided in four parts: manufacturing, marketing, accounting, and personnel. So that's how a divisional structure looks like. Basically, it is suitable for big organization which deals in multiple products. Every every product have their own management. Moving further to the adaptive structure. Adaptive structure. In adaptive structure, we have two types of structure. First one is project organization, and second one is metrics organization. Now listen carefully. The project organization, it's easy, as the name says, in our organization we get some tasks, we get some projects. Okay, and for that project only, when we create an organizational structure, that is known as project organization. If we are creating a team for a particular project, if we are creating a team for a particular project, then it will be considered as project organization. When an enterprise undertake any specialized time bound work involving one time operation for fairly long period, the project organization is found most suitable. In this situation, the existing organization creates a special unit, a special team, so as to engage in project work without disturbing its regular business. This becomes necessary where it is not possible to cope the special task of the project within the existing system. The project may consist of developing a new project, installing plants, building an office complex, and etc. I guess it's clear. Moving to the matrix of organization. As in the project organization, we are creating a different team or specialized unit for a specific project. But in matrix organization, we have a specialized personnel. We have a specialized personnel who are looking after for different projects. Now take it as an example. We have different projects in our organization. Project number A, project B, project C. Project A, project B, and project C, and each project have their different team. Project have their different team of manufacturing, production, organizing, or marketing, sales. Each project, A, B, or C, have their different team of management. Now, we have a specialized personnel. We need to cater all these projects. Okay, we need to look after all these projects. For those projects, we create a unit, or we create a team upon those project units. So these are some specialized personnel. Every project A, or the manager of project A, project B, or project C will the manager of project A, project B, and project C will report to that specialized personnel. Will report to that specialized personnel. I guess it's clear. Let's read it out. This is another type of adaptive structure which aims at combining the advantage of autonomous project organization and functional specialization. In matrix organization, the structure, there are functional departments with specialized personnel who are deputed to work full time in different projects, sometimes in more than one project under the overall guidance and the direction of project managers. When a project work is completed, the individual attached to it go back to their respective functional department to be assigned again to some other project. I hope the types of organization structure is clear. Please answer it so I can move further. Is it clear?
Yes, ma. It is clear to me.
Ma, please, I have a question.
Okay. Yes, I'm listening. State the question.
Ma'am, I have a question.
I'm
Ma'am, can you
listening.
hear
I'm,
me?
I'm all
Okay, ma'am.
ears.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Ma'am, after significance of organization structure, we enter types of organization structure, which told us there are three types. You said there are functional structure, divisional structure, and adaptive structure. Now, in the divisional structure, you talked about textiles. I want to know the meaning of that textiles. And then in adaptive structure, you talked about the two types,
Which particular
metrics and
part?
project.
Which particular part you are referring to?
If under types of organization structure, divisional structure, you talked about textiles.
Divisional structure. Divisional structure.
Yes. Yes, there. After the
Okay.
two exhibition should be yes.
Would you
So
like
I
to
want to
write
know
it
the
down?
meaning of okay now, okay now.
Please write it down. What point you want me to explain again? The whole divisional structure or some specific question you are asking? Meaning of textile industries. Textile is an industry which works with cloths and all, like cotton, manufacturing of cloths. It's involved basically clothes in textile industry. Either they are curtains or they are pair of jeans. Textile industry is related to fabric, to cloths, and also we talked about matrix in adaptive structure. Okay, I hope the first question is clear to you. The textile is related to clothes industry. Basically, the clothes industry is known as textile industry or textile division. This is the, it's not textile division. It's the name of the product. It's the
Okay,
name of
ma'am.
the product.
I got you, ma'am.
Okay. Matrix. Here the meaning of matrix is if you have learned it in maths, that it's like structure, column and row structure. That's called matrix too. When we put project A, project B, or project C, it will form a matrix organization or a matrix pattern. Okay, let me show you guys. Okay, just wait a minute. The pattern will be followed here is called as matrix. Just wait. Let me show you. Is my screen visible to you guys?
Yes, ma'am.
See here. You are seeing this pattern. You are seeing this pattern. This pattern is called as matrix. This, these rows and columns, the pattern the form here is known as matrix. It's a mathematical term too.
Okay, ma'am. It's clear, ma'am.
Okay, and it is same for the exam I have took. It is same for that. Now you can understand it. See, we have project A manager,
Yes,
project B
ma'am.
manager, and project C manager. And project A have the production group, finance group, marketing group, and personal group. So that project B as well, production group, finance group, marketing group, and personal group. Means every project have their different groups. Now for that, to look after all the projects, we create a general manager or a special team, and this team also have a production manager, finance manager, marketing manager, or research and development manager. All all the projects all the projects group will report to the general project production manager. All the finance groups will report to the general finance manager here. Okay, all the project marketing group will report to the general marketing manager, and all these manager reports to the general manager. All these manager reports to the general one manager. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear. Thank you very much.
Okay, let me present you the book again. Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay, let's start. Now we will read some principles of organization. Principles of organization. Unity of objective. Every department we have classified some activities in different groups, but all these activities are working towards one common goal. So the principle is here, unity of objective. Unity of objective. Division of work and specialization. We divide the work. We divide the work and assign it to a special person. Assign it to a special person. Like a person who is good at finance will be sent to the finance department. So division of work and specialization. Definition of job. Every person you are assigning a job should know their job. What's their job? Should know about their job. So definition of job is necessary. They should know what they have to do at that position. Separation of line and staff function. Separation of line and staff function. Whenever possible, line function should be separated from staff function. So line function are those which accomplish the main objective of the company. Line function, focus on this point. Line functions are those which accomplish the main objective of the company. In many manufacturing companies, the manufacturing and sales department are considered to be accomplished the main objective of the business and are so called the line functions. So these are the line functions. What are the staff functions? See, other functions like personnel, plant maintenance, financing, and legal are considered as staff functions. So we need to separate those and their duties too. Chain of command or scalar principle. The chain of command, a person should know who he is accountable to whom he is accountable to, and whose responsibility it is to work a particular work. So there should be a chain of command. They should know who's their subordinate, who's their employee, and who's their superior. Parity of authority and responsibility or principle of correspondence. Along with the authority, we need to delegate the responsibility as well. If we are giving authority to a person, then we need to provide some responsibility to that person too. To perform that particular responsibility, we should delegate some authority to that person. Unity of command. Unity of command. No one in the organization should report to more than one line superior. You understand? No one in the organization should report to than one line superior. Only one line superior means every employee is responsible is accountable to their superior, to their boss. No employee should have two bosses. So unity of command, unity of direction. In a common direction, the organizational work should be diverted. exception principle. This principle suggests that the higher level manager should attend to exceptional matters only. All routine decisions should be taken at lower levels because because it will take time. If the higher authority, the higher level managers take part in every small decision, then it will hinders the smooth running of the organizational activities. Span of supervision. The term span of supervision means the number of person a manager or a supervisor can direct. Means how many person will work under a supervisor, how many employees he or she can handle at a point of time. So it varies from different jobs. Okay, it varies from job to job. How many person can work under a particular person. Principle of balance. There should be a proper balance between various parts of organization, and no function should be given undue importance at the cost of others. Communication. A good communication network is essential to achieve the objective of organization. No doubts the line of authority provides channel of communication, channel of communication downwards and upwards. Flexibility. Flexibility. The organization structure should be flexible so that it can be easily and economically adapted to the changes in the nature of business as well as technological innovation and continuity and continuity. These are some principles of organization. Span of control. As we just read, that span of control means span of supervision. It means how many a person an employee or supervisor can handle, how many employees a supervisor can handle at a given time. So this is what span of control is. Factor affecting span of control. The nature of works will affect the span of control. If the work is simple and repetitive, the span of control can be wider. Means a supervisor can handle many employees in that situation. But if the work requires close supervision, the span of control must be narrow. The span of control must be narrow. Ability of manager. Ability of manager. It depends on the ability of manager too. Means how we able to supervise many people at a time. So it's the skill of managing people or too many people at a given time. Efficiency of the organization. Organization with efficient working system or efficient working system and competent personnel can have a larger span of control. Staff assistant, time availability for supervision. If we have extra time, then we can manage or supervise many employees. If we have less time, then it is not possible to supervise many employees at a time. It depends on the ability of the subordinate as well. It depends on the degree of decentralization as well. Means how much authority you have delegated in your organization to the employees, to the lower level of management. Organization chart. So organization chart is the diagrammatic representation of important aspect like who is the boss, who have the authority, whose major functions and their relationship. It is all mentioned in organizational chart. So it is obvious that organizational chart has the following characteristics. It is diagrammatic presentation. It shows the principal lines of authority in the organization. It shows the interplay of various functions and relationships. It indicates the channel of communication because everything is portrayed on that chart. Who is the boss? Which employee is working under that boss? And for the particular activity, whom you are accountable to. Advantages of that organization chart. It is a tool of administration which indicates graphically to the employees how their position fit into the total organization and how they relate to each other. It shows a glance of line of authority and responsibility, whose authority and responsibility is delegated to a perform a particular task. It serves as a valuable guide to a new personnel. It provides a framework of personnel clarification or classification and evaluating system. It plays a significant part in organizational improvement by reflecting inconsistencies and deficiencies. We have some limitations of organizational chart as well. Organizational chart shows only the formal relationships, not the informal relationships between the employees. It shows the lines of authorities, but it is not able to answer the question like the degree of authority. What degree of authority a particular person at position have? It doesn't show that. It introduces rigidity in relationships because in the chart it is mentioned that this is the boss and this is the employee, so it introduces the rigidity in the relationship. These are some limitations of organizational chart. Organizational manual. The things lacked in organizational chart will be written in detail in organizational manual. It will be written in detail in organizational manual. An organizational chart shows who has the authority over whom, but it doesn't show the extent of authority of the duties each person in an organization is expected to perform. In organizational manual, it is considered. They will show the extent of authority as well. And it is important for persons too because it will tell the employees to whom to report, to whom to listen, and for what misconduct to go to which place, and what are their rights. Everything is written in organizational manuals. With such information available in manual, employees are not required to approach their superiors for the instructions and guidance because their duties and responsibilities as well mentioned in their manual. Types of manual. We have different types of manual like policy manual, operations manual, organizational manual. Policy manual, it is prepared to state the policies of enterprises. It is basic guide to action. Policy manual describe the overall framework within which activities are to be take place and thus reveals the broad course of the managerial actions. Operations manual. The purpose of manuals is to inform the employees of established method, procedures, and desired standard of the performance of the work. It is mentioned in operations manual. Organizational manuals, the duties and responsibilities, the rules and regulations of the organizations is written in the organization manual. Rules and regulation manual. If some companies doesn't include rules and regulations in organizational manual, they create a separate rules and regulation manuals for those. Departmental menu. Every activity performed in the department and how it is performed, so everything is written about the department in the departmental manual. Formal and informal organization. After the manuals, we come to the formal and informal organization. Formal organization, as the name says, it is a planned structure which represent the officially established pattern of relationship among the individuals, groups, sections, units, department, and divisions, so that accomplish the goal of the enterprise. And on the other hand, the informal organization come into existence because of the limitations of the formal structure. It represents the natural grouping of people in working situation. In formal setting, our authority or the top level tells us whom to report, whom to talk, and whom to answer. Okay, and in informal setting, we know whom to talk. We decide who is our friend in our organization and whom to avoid and what kind of relationship we want to have with other employee. So that's what informal organizations tell us about. Although we form informal organization only means all the informal relationships we form is presented in formal organization, because we are entered in a formal organization, we are the part of a formal organization, we met to the people who love there, okay, as a friend. So it is how we met those people, it is a part of formal organization. So the difference between formal and informal. The origin. Formal organization are created by the conscious managerial decision, but informal organization arise spontaneously within the formal organization. Purpose. The purpose of formal organization is well defined objectives to achieve the objectives. But the informal organization is the personal satisfaction, psychological satisfaction, social satisfaction. Activities. We are assigned in formal organization, these are assigned by the authorities or the top level management, but the activities we perform with the informal organization in the informal organization is not they are not so specific activities. We can perform some language cultural or common values or some games, so these are the activities, no one has specified them. Structure. The formal organization follows a hierarchical structure, pyramid shaped in structure with well-defined position. But in informal organization or informal management or employee relationships, there are no such kind of structure. If you are friend with your boss, then you can just directly go to the boss's boss and talk to them. So that's how informal organization works. There is no defined structure. Membership. In a formal organization, every individual belongs to one group or only and work under one superior. But in case of informal organization, a person can be a member of more than one group. Okay, group of their choice. Orientation. In the case of formal organization, values, goals, and tasks are dominantly economic and technical, and they concern productivity and profitability. But in the case of informal organization, values, goals, and tasks are predominantly psychosocial, centered around individual group satisfaction. So these are some orientation, norms, and behaviors. So these are the difference between a formal and informal settings. Yes, this unit is completed because it's just have some advantages of formal or informal uh, organization, and I guess we have discussed it much in different block or in different subject also we have learned it in communication. So it's clear. The unit number 10 is also completed here. If you have any question, you can ask. In next class, we will start unit number 11. Any questions?
No,
From
Okay.
ma'am.
my side, no, ma'am.
Okay, I guess the session is clear to you guys. So let's conclude this class. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye bye. Till next class. Just keep reading
Okay.
and learning.
Goodbye.
Ma'am.
Mm.